Hello, this is Cotton Stoops, and today's HTUC video is on Doreggo. Doreggo has some potential, and I think it looks pretty good, so why not talk about it? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Doreggo, from the counters and checks and teammates that you'll need to know for Doreggo in order to use in a battle, and the basics such as the sets and the roles and the offensive coverage Doreggo will play. Today's video is all about how to use and counter Doreggo. So the role that Doreggo plays is an essential question to ask, and we can only answer this with its base stats. His base stats are pretty simple, with its melee attack, melee defense, and speed all being pretty low. 42 melee attack is obviously not that great, and its melee defense of 66, it is on par with some other frail offensive Lumians, and its base speed of 56 will allow you to outspeed some walls and offensive Lumians like Himber, but overall, you're not going to be outspeeding a lot of offensive Lumians. As for the energy and range defense, 78, energy is not that great. Of course, you do get to 250, but that will require a lot of investment. And range defense of 70 is okay, but it's not that great compared to other Lumians. You do get better in your defenses with your HP stat, but that's not saying much. And your best stat out of all your stats are your range attack of 102. This is on par of something that would be a melee Albatross if you were a melee attacker, but this range attack stat is not on par with other wall breakers, so don't think you're going to be hitting too hard with Doreggo first turn. However, the role that Doreggo will play will still be a mediocre wall breaker because you do have the move Draco Beam and the ability Anomaly, boosting your melee attack stat, or range attack stat in this case, every time you use Draco Beam with Anomaly, which is pretty nice. However, due to your defenses and speed, you will need to double switch or double swap into the battle to get into the battle safely. Using pivots will also be good for Doreggo. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Doreggo's offensive coverage. The Dark and Air offensive coverage will hit 6 types super effectively with Light, Plant, Mind, Bug, Brawler, and Fire. However, you do have 6 resisting types, or 5 resisting types of Dark, Metal, Spirit, Electric, and Ice. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Doreggo's set. So you're going to be running an offensive set for Doreggo to abuse your range attack stat, and the ability will be surrogate to abuse your Draco Beam. The set credits will go to Jolty and Sora as they helped me out with this making the set, and the personality will be Smart, Nimble, Very Frail, or Very Smart, Frail, Tender. This set will be utilizing Smart Nimble to balance out our speed and range attack, as we both need both of those stats to actually deal damage. However, if you just want a plain damaging set, then run Very Smart. The move set of choice will be Draco Beam and Jetstream as your 2 main moves, and Dark Surge will be there of course because it is your stab, and you have some other options like Provoke and Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is if you want to set up. However, Draco Beam already does pretty well against most of the defensive answers, as you can just rack up Draco Beams, and Provoke can be good if you are not running the item like Boots or something like that. Do note that you also do have other moves like Mud Spatter, which you can also run. And the the items of choice, that should say Ancient Essence. I don't know why that's an Air Essence, but this is to boost your Draco Beam even further without, of course, sacrificing with a shell. And Specialty Boots will be utilized if you want to outspeed some offensive Lumians. Do note that most of these offensive Lumians will still be outspeeding you, but that is something to take note of. And the set, 200 range attack and speed will max out both of our important stats. 100 energy gets us to 250 energy, which of course is the #1 rule with these kinds of Lumians who can use 40 and 50 energy costing moves. However, if you do not want to invest all of your TPs or remaining TPs, 52 energy will allow you to use 6 Draco Beams, and the leftovers of TPs will go into the HP. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Doreggo's offensive and defensive counters and checks, as well as its teammates. Doreggo's offensive counters and checks will mainly be comprised of Lumians who can outspeed it and hit it super effectively. Lumians like Volcaloa, Ikazune, and Zulong will be your main Lumians to use to outspeed it, And for Lumians who are in the lower base speed tiers but can still outspeed it even if it does have some boots, is Eclipse. And if you want to use Valkyrie, you can of course use that as well. Other Lumians like Phage Knot can also hit it super effectively. Just make sure it outspeeds it and hits it super effectively and has decent enough damage power to 1-hit or 2-hit KO Doreggo. Just know that once it starts getting off these Draco beams with Anomaly, it's going to be very hard to stop, so these offensive counters and checks will be good. And the defensive counters and checks, this will be a little bit less than the offensive counters and checks, as Draco Beam with Anomaly will be racking up damage so much that it's going to be threatening most of these Lumians. Stratosaur has an okay matchup with it, along with Pyrolin, Vanillin, and Sutamars. However, you're gonna want to keep these at full HP as much as possible, as Draco Beam will continue to rack up damage. Pyrolin and Sutamars are the best answers out of these, and Vanillin and Stratosaur are more niche, but they do have the range defense to take the hits. And offensive teammates will mainly be comprised of Lumians who can hit these defensive answers, like Totab, Himber, Deladrix, Luminami, Samurai, and Gargolem Attack. Do note that you can also use Luminami as a slow pivot to help Doreggo get in, as it can resist most of the things that Doreggo is weak to. You can also use other slow pivots like your Snack and Icicle, and you can use other fast pivots like Phage Knot, and in this case we have Deladrix here as well. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the conclusion and my thoughts on Doreggo. So Doreggo looks to be an interesting Lumian. However, there is a lot of problems with Doreggo concerning its speed tier, which is pretty bad, especially for a Lumian that needs to do damage in order to actually be useful, and your defenses, which are not really the greatest, they're actually pretty bad. There is an argument that I've been seeing floating around, especially within the PvP community, and the fact is Doreggo might just be better as a Draco Beam user, as Doreggo is faster, and while it does hit harder, not harder, but less harder on the range defense or the range attack side, you still have Draco Beam and that speed tier, which is pretty good. And also Doreggo can function in other roles such as baffling, to just get out of the battle and out of your defensive answers. And of course, you can run other moves like Egg Lob, and just being an overall fast offensive Lumian to throw out baffles. So Doreggo might be outclassed by Doreggo, but overall Doreggo looks to be pretty okay. It's not the best, but it is something that if you use will give you a lot of fun. If you liked the video and found this video informational, then like and subscribe. Join the Discord if you want to, and remember that Zulong is still wait, that's